What's going on, people? We are Tottenham TV, back here for another episode of Player Ratings as we got battered 4-1 at the King Power against Leicester. Let's start off with Fraser Forster. Fours all round from us. Conceded 4 goals. I would say probably... I don't think he could do anything with the first one or the second one, but I reckon he should have definitely got down quicker for Harvey Barnes' goal, for the offside goal as well. And I felt like he just wasn't quick enough trying to get off his line. I mean, he takes an age to get out there. You know, all you need to do is just hit it either side low and hard, and it's probably a goal, albeit he did make a couple of low saves during the game and a couple of good saves during the game, but he's just not good enough. That's just the facts of the matter.
It wasn't convincing whatsoever. I do think Hugo would have stopped a couple of the goals that were scored, albeit they were in the corner, especially the Barnes one. But I do feel like Hugo could have got down to those shots. I think, yeah, those saves did save him from getting a lower score than a 4, because he did make a couple of nice saves from Iheanacho, and I think it was from Barnes. But apart from that, slim pickings really for Forster. I didn't think it was a very convincing display whatsoever.
Moving on to Japhet Tanganga. Sim gives him a 3. I gave him a 4. And actually, I thought in the first half he was probably our best defender, albeit it's not saying much. Second half, I thought he looked really nervy, slipping and sliding all over the place. But, I mean, when you're trying to replace Cuti Romero and you bring in Japhet Tanganga, it's never going to do the job, let's be honest.
Yeah, I didn't think he was great, to be honest. I know he was maybe sold out a bit by Porro, who wasn't helping him out on the right-hand side, but I thought whenever he was given the opportunity, really, to kind of put his foot in and get a tackle in or bully a player, he was found wanting. I thought for the offside goal, he was all at sea. It was very lucky that the flag went up for the offside, but I just didn't think he was taking a lot of responsibility yesterday. And I thought it was another really poor display by Tanganga.
Yeah, and talking of poor displays, let's talk about Eric Dyer now. 2s all round from us. I mean, I'm not sure what we saw in there to give him a 2, to be honest, because he was absolutely shocking. I think he had his hand in pretty much the majority of the goals yesterday, apart from the first one, I think it was. I mean, either he was too far advanced up the pitch or he was too deep in terms of the defensive line. I mean, his positioning yesterday was completely schoolboy material. It's something you don't even expect to see like on a school playground, that sort of positioning. And there was just nothing in Eric Dyer's performance yesterday to tell me that you know, he should be here and he should be the main defender that we start every single game in that central part of the back 3. I mean, he was absolutely shocking yesterday.
Yeah, it's almost as if he didn't know his role yesterday. It was either being too aggressive or too standoffish. His defending for that third goal was comical. I think most top-class defenders in that situation put a foot in or try and make a challenge, but he just allowed Iheanacho to walk all the way up until the edge of the box, put his foot on the ball, and then actually to get a shot off as well. I thought that was ridiculous defending by Eric Dyer. I thought his positioning for the second goal really caused us problems and allowed Iheanacho in behind and then to play into Maddison, who scored. For the fourth goal, didn't close down again and allowed Harvey Barnes to get a shot away, and he obviously got a goal. I thought he was all at sea. His passing out from the back wasn't too much better either. Yeah, maybe he didn't even deserve a 2. I'm not really sure what we gave him a 2 for, but maybe because it was only 4, I guess. But it was shambolic, I thought, from Eric Dyer.
Yeah, it really was. And then the last of the backline in Ben Davies, 4s all round from us. It was his pass out that led to the first goal, where Harry Kane maybe should have been a bit stronger, but it was a poor pass, and he was full of it throughout the whole day, to be honest, with his poor passing. I thought he was better than Dyer in a back 3, but again, not saying much. And again, we're starting these games with defenders that couldn't get on the pitch under Pochettino, and we're seeing on a consistent basis why.
Yeah, I mean, he probably was our best defender on the day, but he was also pretty poor. I thought he dealt with Tete fairly well, I would have to say, but I also think he struggled with Iheanacho's positioning and when to step up and when to drop deep. I thought his passing out the back as well wasn't particularly great, so it wasn't a great display from Ben Davies, albeit I thought he was a bit better than the other 2.
Pedro Porro on his debut up next, 3s all round from us. I'll start with the positives, because there were 1 or 2 where he was getting the ball in good positions and showing some nice touches, advancing up the pitch, a few nice link-up plays as well. But look, it's always going to be remembered for his defensive display this game, where Harvey Barnes literally taught him a lesson and said to him, welcome to the Premier League. He just couldn't handle him. And every time he was getting beaten and out of position for one or two of the goals as well. Just really, really bad debut. And I don't remember the last time I've seen a debut this bad.
I would say, I can't remember off the top of my head last time I saw a debut this bad, but it was definitely a welcome to the Premier League kind of performance for Porro, and he'll definitely know what he's in for after this game. Harvey Barnes took him to the cleaners on many occasions. I thought he was weak in the challenge. He wasn't really able to affect the game going forward either, apart from a couple of nice passes and cutbacks. I thought he wasn't really able to get good crosses or anything like that. I just thought he had a really, really poor display. It was more about his aggression and his strength off the ball, which really disappointed me on his debut, because he was found wanting on more than one occasion. Hopefully he's a fast learner and can improve this, but really bad start to his Tottenham career, unfortunately for him.
Yeah, let's hope it can only go one way, and that is up. But let's talk about the midfield now. Let's start off with Pierre-Emile Højbjerg. 5s all round from us, and I think for me, the 5 was just down to the effort that he put in, because you saw he was putting a lot of effort into that game, albeit with little amount of quality. I thought his passing was astray yesterday. He was just having one of those games, but he was one of the better players on the team just for the effort and the desire he was showing on that pitch. And obviously for that last goal, he got completely mugged for the ball and ended up going in the back of the net. So 5 for me.
Yeah, again, more sloppy play from Højbjerg. I thought, to be fair, on the day, he was one of our better players off the ball, did win a few decent challenges, was able to get the ball into good areas, but especially after Bentancur went off, I thought he was so easily caught on the ball. It happened time after time. And it feels as though, unlike Bentancur, when you press Højbjerg, you've got a good chance of winning the ball off him. And that's a big worry with Bentancur now out for so long, whether we have a player in there who can actually keep hold of it. Because I don't think Højbjerg, especially against better opposition, is able to do that at a good level. So I'm getting a bit worried for that. But in terms of yesterday, wasn't the worst player, but again, was too easy to play against.
Moving on to Bentancur, Sim gives him a 7, I gave him a 6, and he started the game really well, dictating the play, got his goal as well from a scrappy goal from a corner, and also headed one off the line, which obviously led to their first goal as well, but you got to give him credit for saving that goal off the line. And yeah, I think apart from that, he went off early in the second half injured. Obviously he's out for a long time, 6 to 8 months, people are saying, but he was our best player on the day, but it was cut short.
Yeah, I mean, it's absolutely devastating, the news about Rodrigo Bentancur, and a bad challenge as well. You can see the challenge again. He has the straight leg and Mendy kind of just goes into it, and it's led to a situation now where he's facing a lengthy spell on the sidelines. I thought he was our best player on the day. Obviously got the goal and could have had a few more efforts on goal as well. Was probably our most likely goal threat in a way before he went off injured as well. I think on the ball, could have been a bit better, but I did think he was probably the one with the most composure off the ball. I thought he did a decent job, although Leicester did find a way of bypassing our midfield way too easily. But I did think on the day he was head and shoulders above the rest of the Spurs team.
Yeah, let's move on to the left wing back, Ivan Perisic, 3s all round, and it's becoming a bit of a consistent theme now with Perisic putting in poor displays defensively, nowhere near good enough. I mean, he should have got out to Mendy, I think it was, for the first goal quicker. And then going forward, I don't think he impacted anything. He got a few crosses in the box, but to low quality, not like you associate with Perisic and his crossing, and just didn't seem to have any sort of impact in the game in a positive way.
Yeah, Perisic, in terms of being on the left-hand side, he was the one actually, as opposed to Porro, actually finding some good positions and good spaces, but wasn't able to really do much with it. And then defensively, I don't think there was too much wrong, like when it comes to open play. Like maybe his positioning wasn't great. I don't remember him being beaten too many times in one-on-one situations, like maybe up against Mahrez. But for the goal, I thought he was shocking. I don't know why he doesn't fully commit to the block. He kind of does it halfway through and then stops, allows Mendy to get get the shot off, and if he puts his body on the line, he probably stops a goal. Unfortunately, didn't do it, and in the end, Leicester scored from it, and the rest is history. But it was a really poor display in the end from Perisic, and again, more loose passing from him as well, which is becoming a big theme now from him on the left wing. We give the ball to him, and he tries these first-time passes into midfield, and I don't know if they're just easily read or they're just really inaccurate, or maybe a bit of both. But he's becoming a bit of a liability when we pass the ball to him in those situations.
Yeah, his passing is literally all over the shop at the moment. How many passes out from the back came to goals against us yesterday from Perisic? Was it just one or two?
I think one. I think
it was just one, wasn't it? But it was just terrible passing. Kulusevski, Sim gives him a 3. I gave him a 4. Probably a 3 is a more correct, to be honest. I thought it was his worst display in a Spurs shirt. Really did. I thought Christensen completely made easy work of him on that right hand side. Couldn't get past him whatsoever. There are a couple of moments in there where you thought he could have done better as well, with more quality in the final third, but it was just an anonymous display, really.
Yeah, shame for Kulusevski, who's been a shining light this season, but this wasn't one of the games where he proved it. Was pretty anonymous, well shackled, had a couple of opportunities to really affect the game, and then his touch let him down, unfortunately for him, and wasn't able to link up with Kane and Son, and wasn't really able to get on the ball in the final third. A couple of times he tried to link up with Porro, but unfortunately it didn't come to anything. So really not a great display from Kulusevski in the end.
Yeah, moves on to HeungMin, Son. Sim gives him a 3. I gave him a 4. Again, probably 3 is more right for this one, but it was the carbon copy from what we've seen from Son for the majority of the season, to be honest. Poor touches, holding on the ball for too long, keep losing the ball, and not impacting anything going forward.
Yeah, and unlike the City game when he had space to run into when he had the ball on the turn, again this time he didn't have that space, and when you restrict that space from Son, he becomes so much easier to deal with, and he was hanging onto the ball way too long. Every time he gets on the turn, he looks up, goes for a sprint, and then he just keeps hanging on to the ball and ends up getting dispossessed every single time. Never releases the ball quickly, and it's becoming really, really frustrating. You would have thought after a lot of performances this season where he's having similar problems, they would either come up with a solution, whether positioning wise, or he would have been told by the coaching staff, you've got to be releasing the ball quicker. But at the moment, he just keeps doing the same thing over and over again, and it's becoming very, very frustrating. He started the game fairly energetically, and he looked like he was going to have another good game, but unfortunately wasn't able to carry that on. Yeah,
you could say that about a lot of the team, to be honest, for that first 10-20 minutes. But last but not least, Harry Kane from the starting 11. Sim gives him a 3. I gave him a 4. Really anonymous display from Harry, to be honest. His worst display in a while. I felt like there was a few times he got it in good areas and his link-up play was okay, but let down by other people around him. But apart from that, he just wasn't in the game, really. Yeah, on the few occasions he was able to wriggle away from Faust or Suter, we actually looked dangerous, but it was only literally 1 or 2 occasions throughout the whole game. Other than that, he was being bullied, he was being pressed, they were being really aggressive up against him, and he didn't really have an answer to it, unfortunately, for Harry. I think he had one shot on target near the end of the game where it was an easy save for Ward. Wasn't the Harry Kane that we know at his best, and he was way too easily dealt with on the day. And because he's a big reference point, a lot of the times our trouble comes when we're playing passes directly into Kane, and then when they get intercepted, all of a sudden we're in big trouble, and that happened for a couple of the goals. So that's something we've got to sort out. Yep. And last but not least from the playing staff, Pape Mata, who came on for the injured Bentancur. 5s all round from us. I mean, he slotted in fairly well into that middle of the park, but didn't really impact too much. And the game was pretty much done anyway when he came on, so not much to note.
Yeah, it was 3-1. Obviously came on for Bentancur. Yeah, he didn't do too much wrong, but again, was still finding those positions even with him on the pitch. He wasn't really able to keep that disciplined area. So didn't do too much on the ball either, so wasn't fantastic, but maybe wasn't making as many mistakes as the other players, but nothing to really of note for him.
Yeah, which moves us on to last but not least, Antonio Conte. 3s all round from us. And look, whatever formation, whatever playing staff you go for from the start, if it's not going wrong, you have to recognise that as soon as possible to make sure you rectify those mistakes. And at half time, we were losing 3-1. We were completely out of the game for the prior 20 minutes. So you got to change things at half time. And if you don't change things at half time, at least change things early in the second half. He failed to do that. We waited till we got an injury to change the midfield. And then we had Richarlison, Danjuma and Lucas Moura all waiting in the wings for their chance. And they get 15 minutes at the end when it's already 4-1. And it's way too late to make the changes. I would have made the changes at half time or earlier in the second half. And you need to be more proactive than what he's being at the moment. And we're too many times now we're letting the game just fly by, get away from us, and making the changes when it's too late. And you sign a player like Richarlison for 60 million. What is the point in having him when you've got players that are clearly not performing to their level? Put him in. Give him a chance. He's literally getting the Bergwijn treatment from last season, which we all spoke about Conte not giving that Bergwijn enough of a chance. It's the same story now with Richarlison.
Yeah, and yeah, that's disappointing. I'm more disappointed by the lack of organisation of our backline, and maybe we weren't really sure how we were approaching the game. Sometimes Dyer was stepping up, sometimes he wasn't. It seemed like he had a kind of muddled approach. The backline was all at sea for the 3 goals, especially in terms of positioning. It seemed as though we didn't know what we were doing, and I think Leicester did a really good job on getting Barnes, Iheanacho, and Maddison all into the game. We didn't really have an answer to it. And I think Conte, at the end of the day, as bad as our defenders are, he was out-tacticked a bit as well by Brendan Rodgers, so he's got to take responsibility for that. But the late changes as well is very frustrating, I have to agree. And he needs to start impacting games earlier. But he clearly wasn't really himself on the touchline as well, still recovering from that surgery. So hopefully the quicker he recovers, the better. But he definitely looked like he wasn't himself.
Yeah, I don't even know if he was actually managing the game yesterday, to be honest. I mean, Stellini spoke after the game saying he wasn't well enough to do the team talks and stuff like that. Obviously, he would have had his say in tactics like he would have done in the last game when he wasn't even there. So I don't know. I get a feeling that he was just on the bench to show a bit of support and stuff. I mean, he wasn't anywhere near as energetic as we've seen him in the past. So yeah, it was hard for Conte because obviously he's recovering from that surgery. Hopefully he can get back at it against Milan. But that is our player ratings for the 4-1 disgrace at the King Power. Let me know in the comment section below what you think of our ratings, and put your ratings in the comment section below. Like, subscribe and comment. And as always, come on you Spurs.